Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Brave Exodus video. And we're going to be talking about more Season 4 units on the global version. They'll be coming out, and I'm assuming there's no buffs because they didn't say there was any. So, we have Haveh here, whose STMR is only good for him. And maybe if Instrument and Perils become better in the future, maybe it would become pretty decent because it does have 180 attack and magic, so it's applicable to two sets of rolls. And the MP cost by 50% is actually pretty high. It's just tied to currently it's just tied to a very mediocre gimmick. But maybe in the future this might actually be decent because 50% MP cost reduction is quite heavy. Anyways, in the kit, 130% Dark and Peril, 80% full break, and one ability. That's alright. Most times you can get away with just using 80% breaks on lower difficulty stuff. Podcast triple cast. He has cooldown. He has a 100% status resist, 100% stop and charm resist. I actually looked at this for one event recently in the JP version. I was looking for something like this, so he was in the running. He was in the consideration of being used. Anyways, 750%, 750 MP recovery, split over 3 turns, of course, because if it was full, it would be 2 OP, right? 2 OP. 100% Reaper and Plant Killer for all allies, of course. Earth and Dark imbues with 25% amps. That's pretty standard. Going on supports going forward, a lot of supports are going to have something like this. 150% to Machine and 200% Reaper Killer, 600% cap, and also Dark Gravity spells mod boost. The passive 30 times and also 60 times. The LB is a 87% full break, ice, fire, and earth and dark and peril with 130%, 2 stacks of evasion, and it's 27 hit, 120 times mod, sorry about that. And the SLB doesn't change the breaks, of course not. 135% peril for the ice, fire, earth, and dark, 3 stacks of evasion, and 3 hits for 160 times mod. I'm not really sure what this is even for because the modifiers are really bad on an SLB. I know this guy's gonna get a negative review because I still have no application for him whatsoever. I don't see how you why you would ever care about this guy or why you would use him in any situation, because he just, if you want a breaker, you're gonna bring someone better than this. If you want someone who does it in perils and things, you have someone. Most DPS have really strong imperils nowadays. And the dark gravity thing that he has going on is so bad because Dark Rain is coming out, Renoa is coming out. Like, who's gonna even remember this guy in a few weeks? So, for the first time in a long time, and this guy is one of the first units in a while on the JP version that is just not very good. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give him like a 5.5 out of 10. Just, he doesn't really do anything, because yes, he does things, but in the grand scheme of things, guys, the time you would want to bring him along, you're like, oh, I have this instead. So he's one of the worst units that have been made in a long time, and I'm not trying to be too negative. I'm telling you straight up, he's not worth the effort. I have him in EX2. So I'm not speaking just, I don't know anything about him or anything like that. I have him in EX2 just because I pulled a lot of dupes of him back in the back a few months ago and stuff like that. So I have him EX2 and I never used him. Have yet to use him. So 5.5 for Haveh, really skippable. Lehftia, whose STMR is actually quite valuable. I've used it on occasion. The kit. Basic healing kit, like raise and healing and functions like that, and Dispel Gun and things like that, compared to Aerith, who has no healing. Of course, the new Aerith, not the healer Aerith. TMR is very good for Dark Visions and Vision World. I've used it many times. The TMR is very, very good. So if you get multiples for her, get multiples for her TMR, because it is 3 times Bolting Strike on one ability, which is quite good for units that don't have any chaining and you want to get that 100 chain and stuff like that, right? So I've used it a lot. The cooldown is a 300% stab buff, 100% low pierce damage buff for all allies, 100% human and machine killer for allies, and also she fills her own little risk gauge up to max. Fire Imbue, 30% amp, pretty standard. Well, not, it's a little higher than standard, really. 100% stat break resist for allies at the start of battle, pretty good. Especially on global, because sometimes they like to do things like that. 100% stat break for all allies in 4th level first gauge crystal fill for all allies on a normal attack, pretty decent. If she has got nothing to do that turn off, all of her things are up and everything, you doesn't really need to do anything, that's a decent thing to use. The LB, 30% stab buff, 20% lunar burst damage buff, 35% amp. The difference between the LB and the SLB is a higher LB buff and also fire imbue, and also a bigger fire amp. So the SLB is the fire imbue, but you can imbue without the SLB, of course. And some cons, kind of a con, like most people are probably not going to be looking at her all that much because Aerith was free and she basically almost does the same thing as Lehftia, with one caveat of her having healing and Aerith not have healing. So there might be a situation, and this happened to me, you might want to have a fire buffer with healing, and it actually happened one time. There was a boss rush or one of those EX trials where she came in handy because I needed healing, so that worked out for me. And EX3 for Machine Killer, 160% Machine Killer buff when in the future, a future Season 4 unit is going to have 250% Machine Killer, even though it's only a single target buff. Really, you're only putting it on your finishers anyways, so 250% buff on your killer is really strong, like really strong. So with that being said, and her being quite good, but at the same time Aerith kind of brings her down a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and give her 8.5. Very good unit, but if you have Aerith, you're probably not really going to be considering her very much because I'm sure there's options on global, you can just bring a healer instead, stuff like that. So yeah, that's it guys. Actually not a very short review at all. It's actually a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are going to pull for them, if you've been waiting all your life for them. I say that every time. I only say that in like banners that I expect people not to pull on. But Lehftia is good if you get her an off banner pull. You're not going to complain too much because her kit is pretty good. And I do like the healing. It is valuable in some situations. I brought her over Aerith sometimes because I needed healing on top of her buffs. So very good. And Runda is free, so I'm not going to review him, but he would get like a 9.5 if he was on banner. He would get like a 9.5 because he's one of the best units in the game that's given off asterisk given out for free. Highest general mitigation in the game, or physical or general mitigation in the game, highest that you can possibly get. It's like 80% or something. I kind of forgot, but it's very high. And I've used him quite a bit, and he also has bolting strike chaining, triple cast bolting strike chaining, so after he's done everything he can cover it. And in the future he is Tyvus's best friend for sure, because I covered it in a video a few days ago where Runda's hat that you can craft in the future gives Tyvus LB or SLB mods depending on which version of the hat you have. There's two versions, one will buff LB, the other one will buff SLB. So yeah, Runda is very good. So if you guys need it, if you guys are free to play and you don't have a lot of stuff, go get Runda. 9.5 easily. If Runda was on a banner, easily 9.5. Anyways guys, thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate you. See you in the next video.